guys, oh my god, I think it's Anime Death Spiral. We're back again, the only anime podcast that can fit in a dime bag. Now, I have some very time-sensitive and pressing news for you, Nate.
Oh, God.
This is going to blow you up.
Tell me.
This is going to blow you up and away. Up, and away.
I am sitting on the edge of my seat.
This is for Nate, but also for all of you. Listen, if you can do it, you need to get yourself over to Akiba because there is a gushing over magical girls pop-up cafe. That is right. Your favorite new anime is getting a pop-up cafe right in Akiba.
I have so many questions.
The strip, right? Or is that just the game? I don't actually know Akiba.
Well, no, Akiba is, I assume that's just the shortened version of Akihabara, right? And that's what everyone kind of refers to it as, Akiba.
Don't ask me. I don't know shit.
I'm telling you. You know, these are facts.
In America, we don't learn geography. Ask me how many state capitals I can remember.
Wait, how many there are total or what they actually are named?
I have no fucking clue, either one. Because how many states are there? I don't even know.
There's 50 states.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Because what about Puerto Rico?
Oh, shit.
Are we taking a stand? Are we taking a stand there or what?
I mean, I'm unequivocally...
he can't even bring himself to joke about it. Gushing over magical girls pop-up cafe. Go.
What
are your expectations? What do you want? What are you afraid of?
Okay, so I mean, first off, when you say this, I'm imagining something kind of like those chain restaurants where the gimmick, right, is that all the servers are like rude to you. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, interesting angle. When you said chain restaurant, I immediately thought Hooters. Maybe that's just me being overly typical.
No, I think that's also on the right track. I think that what I'm envisioning is kind of like a meld of Hooters and
maid cafes.
Well, it's obviously a maid cafe.
Dick's Last Resort. That's what you're thinking.
I am thinking of Dick's Last Resort. You're totally right.
Where they're rude to you.
Yes.
I'm still not 100% convinced that Dick's Last Resort is like that's their gimmick, and it's not just that the people are fed up with your bullshit.
It can be both. That's not mutually exclusive.
You're right. It's not mutually exclusive.
They only hire people that are already on that edge of like snapping, right?
Well, I feel like just dealing with drunk people all day, every day is just so tiresome.
I mean, having worked at an amusement park when I was a teenager, yeah, I can confidently say that is true.
It really sucks. That's why I feel so much for these like maid cafe girls. I don't know if any of them are like alcoholic. I guess those would be the hostess bars, right?
Yeah, that's kind of a different thing. The hostess bars.
They got a seedier vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like much tangentially closer to sex work than I would say a maid cafe is.
Yes. We call it hostessing because we're polite.
Yes. And also, a best part of Yakuza 0. I'm just going to say that.
I mean, that's true. I spent more time playing my maid cafe hostess bar thing than the entire rest of the game. And I don't think that's even a unique experience.
No, I think that's pretty common. I didn't even finish Yakuza 0. I just did all of the side missions and then kind of got bored with the main story because it wasn't funny.
Yeah. I think this maid cafe thing, I feel like the big problem they're running into is, okay, you can't just do a magical girl maid cafe because there's a billion of those already, right?
Been there, done that.
You need to put the gushing over magical girl twist on it, but the whole twist of gushing over magical girls is that you're doming the magical girls. So, like, what part of customer service is coming into play here?
Well, okay, first of all, I just want to point out that I wouldn't call it doming because it lacks that element of consent that I think makes it okay to do. No, gushing over magical girls is about sexually assaulting magical girls.
We're trying to stay in the spirit of anime.
I don't think that is outside of the spirit of anime at all. But.
Okay, well, I don't want to spoil Gushing Over Magical Girls, the intricate plot details, but it turns out that like maybe this is more consensual than it first appears. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not defending Gushing Over Magical Girls. I'm just saying. Okay,
all right. Well, I mean, that is an interesting angle that I was not aware of. I've only seen the first 5 minutes of the first episode. I had to bounce out after that.
It's not good. It's definitely creepy shit.
Yeah. But what would the gimmick of
really
this maid cafe be? Like, what do you go there And are the servers magical girls? Are they dressed up as characters from the show?
See, I have no prior knowledge, so obviously this is all intuition, but it's 100% a lock that they're dressed as magical girls. Now, the thing that is unclear is whether when you get served your food, you're allowed to, like, I don't know, hit the magical girl with a riding crop or something. It's like,
I guess
do part of their clothes come off when they drop the food off at your table? I'm really struggling to come up with like what is happening.
Yeah,
here.
I guess the core of my confusion in here is, in this scenario, who is gushing over who?
You are gushing over them.
But what if you're going there to be gushed over by them? Is that not an angle that it's possible?
I mean, that's certainly possible. It seems less
Isn't that
likely.
why, like, these horrible lonely dudes go to these maid cafes?
No, because like the master-slave relationship, I shouldn't say it's slave. The master...
No, you can say that.
Master-servant relationship is, in its very essence, a domination kink, you know? Now, see, did you, when you obviously very famously went to Japan...
It's true.
You've actually done the thing. You did the damn thing.
It is as they say.
Did you go to any of these themed cafes? I don't remember. I don't think you told me about that.
No, I didn't, because when you're walking down any of the main streets in Akihabara,
Yeah.
they're like lined up with like promoter girls, basically, right? They're dressed in the costume and they're handing out flyers,
Right.
for all of the maid cafes or whatever theme cafe they want you to go to, and
Yeah.
just the overwhelming vibe of like seediness.
Yeah.
Like they make no attempt really at disguising that they don't want to be doing this, and I didn't want to be seeing them do that just as much, I would say.
I must avert my eyes.
It felt exploitative and wrong in a way that I've never really experienced firsthand before. It made me very uncomfortable every time they would come up to me and like basically shove these flyers into our hands.
Well, yes, and you're not really much of a city boy to begin with.
No, I'm a cornbread country boy, don't you know?
Yep. You grew up among the stalks. He who walks among the rows.
I don't know. I didn't go to any maid cafes. We didn't go to any animal cafes either.
Yeah.
Basically for the same reason.
Those seem less exploitative, but still kind of weird.
Yeah. Let me tell you, they are still incredibly exploitative. Don't you worry about that.
I don't know if I'll ever get to Japan, but I think I would like to do a maid cafe. Just one. Maybe just like the most popular one or the mainstream one. Just so I can get a clear, concrete definition of them in my mind, because these are so prevalent in the horrible anime that we watch. They're everywhere. Characters are getting jobs there. Characters are visiting there. Characters are trying to start these things. They're doing school festival versions of them.
Did you ever watch any of Akiba Maid War?
Oh God, no! But I've heard of it through its reputation.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's
yes,
it is that premise where it's literally about like all of these maid cafes are fronts for like criminal organizations that are having like shadow wars with each other.
But the girls have to fight, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Let me be perfectly clear here. These are female-centric, female-led criminal organizations. The girls are in control.
Well, that's very feminist of them. The biggest thing, honestly, the bottom line for me is I do not find maid outfits appealing in any way. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean,
outside of the kink, like domomination fetish
well,
thing.
there's that, obviously. I think a big part of it, why it's popular in Japan, is like that Francophile streak that kind of runs through everything there.
I think so too. But like, honestly, that hasn't been a thing in France, in like, I don't know, 80 years.
Well, yeah, that's part of it though. It's part of this adoration of an idealized version of that, right? Kind of like steampunk nerds in Victorian England.
Yes, the return.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the only ones guilty of that. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Look, I every time we get into this thing, I end up feeling gross. let's move on from this.
Let me say one more thing.
Okay,
if
go
you
for it,
ever
go
do
for it.
make it to Japan, I don't think you should go to a maid cafe. I think you should go to a butler cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a Prince cafe.
Yeah, which, by the way, I found very interesting about that whole industry.
Yeah.
Is that most of the servers at those like butler or Prince or idol, like male idol cafes that you can go to.
Yeah.
They're all women in drag. They're not usually staffed by actual like male servers.
In the butler Prince samurai style cafes, they're all women too.
I don't know about samurai, but definitely the butlers and the princes.
I'm assuming about the samurai thing. You'd think that must be a thing, right?
That may be a bit harder to pull off with the shaved head and the top knot.
Yeah, they have to wear a bald wig at work every day. Oh my God. Can you imagine the fucking breakouts on your skin? Ugh. Ugh.
All right, let's stop talking
Okay,
about
that's
this.
disgusting. That's fucking disgusting.
You made it
okay,
weird.
you told me you played some anime, right? You were talking about playing anime recently. Let's talk about that instead.
Let's talk about playing some anime. You know what just came out was that Persona 3 remake, or Persona 3 Reload.
Now, as we've mentioned before, probably the single most anime video game ever made. Possibly.
I can't think of another one.
Possibly.
I want to say like Phoenix Wright, maybe. Like those are pretty anime, you know. Any visual novel really kind of straddles that border.
Yeah, you know, there's just something about Persona 3 that I think pushes it over the edge for me. You know, like obviously lots of visual novels have gotten anime, and Phoenix Wright even has a live action movie, which we still need to watch, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I need to get back around to that one because I heard that one's actually funny. But like because Persona has large, intricate, actual anime cutscenes in it, the subject matter itself, all of that stuff kind of adds up to anime. I
mean, I agree. I'd say the Persona games, like you said, they have a non-zero amount of actual anime in them. Like they have full-on animated cutscenes, like you said.
They have anime jammed into that shit.
I mean, the Persona 5 anime was literally just the cutscenes from the game strung together with added scenes.
Yes, very convenient for people who didn't want to play the absolutely atrocious dungeon grinding. Sorry, guys. I love Persona. Let's be honest. That part sucks.
It truly does. You know, I can't remember if I've mentioned on this show
how you fucked up the first time you played Persona.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. You're bad at Persona games. It took you a while to figure it out.
Well, I was just so enamored with the anime aspect of it. I wanted to spend all day doing the school like socializing stuff.
Yeah.
And talking to all the different people.
That's the cool stuff.
It is the cool stuff.
That's the fun stuff.
Now, I do want to point out that as long as we're talking about the grindy video gamey aspect of these games, Persona 3 has the best mechanism amongst all of them for initiating them. You know what I'm talking about?
No, elaborate on that.
Okay, so I haven't played Persona 4, but in Persona 5, like, you just kind of, like, go to the Phantom Realm, right? Whenever you need to. There's, like, a portal that you can find that takes you to the grindy stuff to go to a dungeon.
Well,
or you jump into the dreams.
Yes, in 4, you go into the Channel Zero style television. Mm-hmm. In 5, you issue a Phantom Heart, I don't know, challenge, I guess.
Yeah, you drop off your Lupin calling card or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
In 3, you shoot yourself in the head.
Yes. This is the best thing that Persona has ever done. I fucking love that. It's so cool.
The first time that I played Persona 3 when it, was released in America on PS2, and the opening cutscene where it's kind of like this abbreviated intro of how the character ended up where he is.
Yeah.
And he's getting attacked by the demon shadow monsters or whatever, and just a gun materializes in front of him, and instinctually, without having to be told what to do, he's like, all right, well, guess I'm out.
Peace.
Later, y'all.
Peace, motherfucker.
Oh, wait, I'm not dead? It gave me superpowers? I guess that's cool, too.
God, that's even better.
How do you think... I don't think they ever explain it in the game, how they know that to activate their persona powers, they need to shoot themselves in the head. Who do you think was the first person to explain that to them? How do you figure that out?
Well, in most Persona games, there's a cutesy mascot that will tell you how to do it.
I can't remember the cutesy mascot. I thought it was like a fucked up little butler dude.
There is a fucked up little butler dude, but he's the one in the, what do they call it? The Velvet Room? Wait, no, that's a local bar.
The Red Room. Wait, no, that's Twin Peaks.
Fuck. There's some kind of room. The fun room.
The waiting room. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I need to know. Oh my God. The Velvet Room.
It is the Velvet Room.
The Velvet Room. It is the Velvet Room.
Nice.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's where the creepy butler guy is. Weird little penguin looking motherfucker.
And
he looks like a penguin crossed with Riff Raff.
Yeah, I would say he's kind of like the heron from Boy and the Heron in human form, but also the butler from Sunset Boulevard. Kind of like that.
Those are your touchstones?
Yeah, those are my touchdowns.
The most recent Ghibli movie and Sunset Boulevard.
Well, I was really going for a theme, if you couldn't tell.
How much have you played so far? Obviously, this is notorious for being like 400 hours long.
Not that much. I just downloaded and installed it yesterday because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I maybe like the first 5 days of school I've done so far, so like barely touched it.
Wow.
I know, but I'm liking it. You know, obviously I like Persona. I played most of Persona 5. Didn't make it all the way through that one either. It is an issue. I'm going to be honest. It is an issue with those games slogging through the grindy shit because they don't let you really beat around it. It is, for better or worse, a major aspect of playing the games.
Oh, yeah. You got to grind dungeons, dog. There's no way around it. You know, the thing about Persona 5 for me personally is that you can't take the main character's glasses off.
Oh, I hate that.
I hated that.
He looks like such a nerd.
Hey, and look, I wear glasses now, so I could say that. I'm allowed to say that, okay?
You can't say that. You're not one of us.
4 eyes, that's our word.
You 2020 motherfucker.
So I always like the designs in Persona 3 a lot better. And in fact, I like the designs in Persona 2 the best because they kind of have like a JoJo flair to them.
They were a little bit more flamboyant, I will say.
They toned it down as the series went along, I feel.
So I'm looking at the main character from Persona 3.
Yeah.
And I think by far of the Persona main characters, these guys definitely have the coolest school uniform because it is essentially just a standard black and white two-piece suit, you know, coat and pants, the white shirt.
Yeah.
They have a ribbon bow tie instead of a traditional tie, it would seem.
Oh, it is a ribbon tie? Because for some reason in my mind, it was a bolo tie, which is so cool.
No, it's not a bolo tie. It's close. It's a ribbon tie.
Ah.
What I'm rather uncomfortable with, though, is the red and black armband and badge that's apparently part of the school uniform.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you know, does not have the same stigma as it does in the West. That's just one of those things.
They just see things differently over there.
They got a whole different culture over there. You hear about this?
Now, of the three Persona games that I'm familiar with, 3, 4, and 5, I think 4, he's like, 4 main character is the most boring. I don't like his design at all. Also, his glasses are stupid.
Yeah, I definitely like the Persona 3 protag the best. I think he's cool. He's got kind of like a androgynous look to him. You know, as much as the armband, it does creep me out. It is nice to have a little bit of a flair in the outfit.
He does have that Chuni disease haircut, though.
Yes, he's definitely got
swept over mop over his eye.
Big emo vibes.
Yeah.
A big Death Cab fan.
Oh, for sure. Death Cab.
Yeah. You think he's the kind of dude who would like get up in arms about Midwest emo and like true emo?
No, I think that's actually the Persona 5 MC, which I'm going to say I don't think that 3 main character is a My Chemical Romance fan. I think that is squarely on 5.
That's 5?
Yeah, he has the flamboyant nature to really appreciate the Black Parade.
Okay, fair enough. You know, the thing is, I like 4. I think I had the best time with 4 just because it was like the first Persona game I went all in on. But also, I really like the setting of the rural town over the city. The Ruru town?
See, I'm least familiar with 4, so I didn't know that it was in it's a country setting.
Yeah, it's more of a small town country vibe to it than the big city ones.
I don't know. I feel like there's something fundamental about the big city high school experience for these games. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing in 4. Again, I haven't played it, but that sounds like it could be a good shakeup to the formula.
I think it was interesting. Yeah.
Obviously they went straight back to Tokyo high schools for 5.
Yeah. I'm split because I also think I might like the teddy bear mascot more than the cat mascot.
Oh, right, the cat mascot from 5. Now I remember.
Yeah. He's a cat burglar.
Yeah, of course.
Cheesy
what was the mascot from 3? Is it just the gun?
You're playing it. You tell me.
Oh, it's the dog.
The dog.
The dog. He's like a little angel dog.
Inu.
Yeah, with headphones.
And then Kuma.
Uh-huh.
And then Neko.
Dog, bear, cat, TV, man, woman.
Food, drink, man, woman. This section is brought to you by Duolingo.
Please give us ad money.
Word by word. I'm slowly getting there.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm
Ningen.
Ningen. So yeah, I don't know. I'm early in, but I do like these Persona games. I wanna take a better shot at playing this one because I do, at its core, I do like the gameplay aspect of kind of the, I don't know, cyberpunk demon Pokemon. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Have you ever considered playing a Shin Megami Tensei game? Because that's all that stuff.
I have considered playing that, but half of them in English are on the DS, which you can no longer buy, and the early ones are still only fan translated. So I feel like there's a bigger barrier of entry trying to get into Shin Megami Tensei than with the Persona games.
Sure.
So
they definitely can appear completely mystifying from the outside.
Yeah, but you also played some anime, didn't you?
Oh.
Enough about Persona. I want to talk about some other anime that you played.
All right. Let's talk about some other anime. We are the podcast that is incredibly timely. We talk about all the breaking news, obviously.
We got the hot news.
We're on the pulse of the culture.
We got that hot gushing news.
And so, of course, I would be remiss to not talk about the biggest thing happening right now. The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo dropped.
Hell yeah.
It's actually part 1 of the demo, by the way. I don't know if you heard that. They're releasing a part 2 of the demo later on.
I unironically love that. It sucks and that's stupid, but I also love that it kind of harkens back to those early days of demos, like half demos you would get, like 5 vertical slices on a single disc in a Game Informer magazine.
Sure.
I like that.
It's very strange. I think the strangest thing, besides splitting a demo up into 2 parts, is that the game comes out at the end of the month. And this isn't like a game where it's like, hey, you want to check it out? Here's a little bit of our content. What do you think? You want to play this game? This is Final Fantasy VII. Like what?
This is a sequel to the remake of Final Fantasy VII, so we're going into people being highly invested in whatever this game is right off the bat, right?
It's like who exactly is the target demo for a? I fucked myself up. For the demo.
People who have never heard of Final Fantasy VII, either original or remake, and just download demos, I guess. There's still got to be people like that.
I download demos from time to time.
All of my media picks are pre-vetted and screened years in advance.
Yes.
I don't have time to gamble.
That is weirdness 1, right? Mm-hmm. There's a whole cascading weirdness list.
Real quick, what is included on part 1 of the demo that they couldn't fit and they have to release a second one? I just want to know that.
That's weirdness number 2. The content of the demo is the Cloud Nibelheim flashback.
Like the entire thing?
All of it. Everything up to the most iconic Sephiroth shot in Final Fantasy history.
Do they show the shot?
They show the shot.
Okay, so that's
they
like
shoot the shot.
A non-insignificant portion of the original game. That's like an hour. That's like an hour of gameplay.
Yes, and of course, in the spirit of JRPGs, they have extended it out. It is now like 2 or 3 hours for this whole sequence.
Okay. this is just my guess. I'm totally spitballing here. Maybe the part 2 of the demo is going to feature like open world stuff, or is that in?
It will. No,
Okay.
it will. They talked a little bit about it. It's going to be you riding chocobos around the open world part.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. That, I mean, at this point, they're basically releasing what 15 years ago would be considered an entire fucking game.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just I was a little flabbergasted because I didn't know exactly what was happening, what was going to happen in the demo, and then they drop one of the most, if not iconic, consequential sequence of events in the entire series as the little taste test, the Costco sampler for the main game. And I'm like, that is what I just can't imagine what the thinking is. I know that simplest explanation is that that's where the game is going to start. Like that is going to be the first couple hours of the release, but still, like, wouldn't you want to
that lines up with the progression of the original game. You know, the remake ends with the gang finally getting out of Midgar, right?
Yes.
And everything kind of is ambiguous and open from there.
Yeah.
And in the equivalent of that time in the original game, that's like end of disc 1, and it introduces the open world, and the first place you go is Nibelheim. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I still think it's weird that they released that entire segment as the demo for the game.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
Now they don't give away the big twist, which is like, okay, good, I guess.
I mean, I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, and I'm not even sure what you're referring to as the big twist, because there's like 5 or 6 that could refer back to in that segment of the story alone.
Well, so the big twist in my mind.
Spoilers. Putting a spoiler tag, folks.
Spoilers. Whoa, spoilers for fucking Final Fantasy VII.
The demo part 1.
Demo part 1. This is immediately complicated because of how weird the last one ended. The last thing you see in the previous game is Zack being alive for some reason.
Yes, yeah. And I have my own theories about what that was, but that's not what this is about.
Yes. That is a very strange thing. I mean, that's what they're going for, is like, hey, guess what? Time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat wheel.
But that immediately complicates the entire Cloud telling the Nibelheim story. You know what I mean?
I would love it if he finishes telling the story to all of them, and Zack just busts into the room and is like, that, but that's not how it happened.
Let me tell you my side of the story.
Hey, we're getting a real Rashomon here.
You know, the thing, I guess it makes me a little sad, though, because, I played the Zack game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. I didn't play the recent remake of it.
I played the remake, not the original.
I played the original PSP version.
Yeah, Crisis Core. Mm-hmm. And the ending of that game is really cool. I mean, they basically just, they do the Halo Reach ending, right?
Right.
But it's really good, and it's really, like, emotionally impactful, right? I think a lot of that game is too goofy to ever actually invoke a lot of dramatic feelings it's going for, but that ending, that's fucking cool shit, dude.
One of my favorite things about the ongoing media franchise that is Final Fantasy VII is once
the
you...
juggernaut.
Yeah. Well, once you take, like, a bit... Now that it's existed for, almost 20 years... Once you take like a backed up, zoomed out view of everything that is the series, you start seeing all of the super weird shit in every game that is just dropped after the first time it's introduced, right?
Yep.
We're talking about Crisis Core. Does anyone remember that Gact was in those games? Do you remember the Japanese pop star Gact?
Yes, that's so fucking insane. Hey, I love Gacto. I love Gact. I was a big Gact fan in high school. Dude fucking rules.
And he's just introduced in Crisis Core as like, oh yeah, this is the guy that trained Sephiroth, and he's even more crazy and badass than Sephiroth.
Whoa, Sephiroth learned from Gact?
So cool.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Or Zack's, what was his teacher's name? Angeal.
Angeal, yes. basically Angelo, but they couldn't quite get to it.
Yeah. And that dude is never mentioned again outside of the context of Crisis Core, even though, according to that game, him, Angeal, Gact, and Sephiroth, like, formed some kind of unholy apocalypse trio.
Well, yeah. Okay, so here's a cool thing about this retelling of the Nibelheim thing is they actually do kind of hint at the Angeal Zack relationship.
Really?
Which is funny because obviously Cloud doesn't really know anything about it. There's a couple. Let me tell you the cool things about the demo. We talked about how fucking weirded out I was by all these things, and there's more weird shit. But let me tell you a couple of the cool things. Number one, this is both a cool thing and an incredibly strange thing. There is a very deep and complex piano simulation in this game.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. I don't know how much you remember about the original Final Fantasy VII, but part of that Nibelheim flashback sequence was that you could go into Tifa's house and play the piano in her living room. And if you played the battle theme song for the game, it gave you Tifa's like secret final move item.
I actually didn't know that part. I'm not a seven head to that level.
I played Final Fantasy VII a lot.
Okay, well, first of all, here's some changes.
Okay.
Number one, the piano is in Tifa's room now.
Or actually, I think that's where it was in the game. I don't think that's changed,
Okay.
actually.
You're fucking up.
Okay, I'm fucking up.
So you get Tifa's theme. You pick up the sheet music. It's on her piano, and now the sheet music itself is a collectible like story item. Mm-hmm. So there's like a bunch of them, and when you sit down at the piano, an entire a new HUD appears on the screen, and it is the most comprehensive musical. I hesitate to even call it a rhythm game, even though that is the fundament of it. But it is like there are two circles that are bound to your two sticks, and you have an entire octave in a key on one circle to the right, your melody hand, and then you have an entire other circle on the left for the harmonies, chords, right?
Right.
And you can select your octave. You can select what key you're playing in. You can hold a button to go to semitones, so you can play out of key notes. This thing is insane. It's so crazy. Why did they do that? I mean, it's cool.
I feel like that is pure Tatsuya Nomura. That's all him right there. Do you remember do you remember the complex dancing minigame for cross-dressing Cloud?
Oh yeah, I love the dancing minigame. Cross-dressing Cloud minigame, iconic. Great. Yeah, good shit.
Or the super over-designed crouch like gym minigame. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I think that is all. I think the piano stuff is very in line. It's just adding more layers.
Yeah, it's very strange, especially when you contrast it to the new system for navigating terrain. You can now like move up and down things, and that is janky as hell. Like it barely works. They clearly they really designed the hell out of this fucking piano playing minigame, but moving around the world is still needs a little bit of work.
Now let me ask you this about the segment in Tifa's room. Do they still have the thing about you finding her underwear?
They have softened it. So when you're telling the story, your party members are constantly interjecting, right? And part of that is like, you go up to Tifa's door and it's like Tifa in the voiceover is like, "You went into my house?" And you have the option to say like yes or no, right?
Yeah, that's all.
But I'm like, I'm saying yes for sure. I go into the house, you go in, you're like, Tifa's like, "You went into my room?" It's like, yes, no.
Yeah.
You go into her room, you open up her wardrobe, and she's like, "You went through my stuff?" And you have the option to say like, "No, I'm joking," or like, "I'm sorry." And of course I opened that shit. And Tifa and Aerith both call you an asshole for doing that, which is charming. It's nice. It's a nice little part. I like the way the party interjects. I think it's done really well.
Now, I only ask because that bit is one of my favorite mistranslations from the original English release of the game. Because when you do that and the way you describe that is basically 1-for-1 for how it plays out in the original game.
Yeah.
But if you say like, yeah, I did go through your wardrobe, you get added to your inventory an item called orthopedic underwear. And for the longest time...
That kicks ass.
Yeah, it's great. It's very funny. And for the longest time, I had no idea what that possibly could mean, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that is in a very roundabout way, that's a mistranslation of saying that Tifa has granny panties. She has like old lady underwear.
I wear prescription underwear.
Yeah. It's like the Japanese translation for the word orthopedic is basically the same as like for old people.
And yet everyone draws panty shots of her and she's just wearing normal underwear. No granny panties to be found.
Unacceptable. Non-canon.
Fake ass fans. Fake fans, dude.
Fake fans. I'm sick of these fake Final Fantasy VII fans.
I'm sick of these fake Final Fantasy fake fans who don't even know that Tifa wears granny panties. I'm sick of it.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. That's all I want to say about Tifa's underwear.
Also, Cloud does Zack's squats in the flashback, which I thought was a good addition.
Hell yeah, that's funny.
That's one for the Crisis Core bros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey. We're paying attention. You're in our hearts, bros.
Yeah, man. Also, Sephiroth is like really nice to you. He's like a really cool, nice dude.
It's very
He's like a total upstanding, cool dude.
I really want to see, because in the original script, they kind of play him as more of like an aloof, not unfriendly, but like, you know, he's your senpai, right? And he's like, hey, keep it up, slugger. You'll make it there someday. And that's like basically all he says to you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously a lot of that is the technical limitations at the time, but like he is standoffish and cold for the most part. Mm-hmm. Not mean, but he's like, you know, he's an intimidating presence. And this one, he's like, he literally is like patting you on the shoulder like, hey, good one, bro. Like, it's very strange. Also, seeing the long sword in day-to-day scenarios, so fucking goofy, man. It's fucking goofy.
I don't know. It's the horrible little 14-year-old that still lives inside of me, but I still like the big sword. I like the big sword.
Yeah, you know, if only in swords alone, it's obviously the Berserk reference, right? Cloud wielding the Dragon Slayer and Sephiroth wielding the kind of more typical European style cutlass.
Strength build versus dex build.
Yeah, but in typical Nomura fashion, they're like, well mine is like 4 times larger. It's way longer than in Berserk. It's like 10 feet long, dude.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When I was like 15 and playing this game for the first time, because I was a late bloomer, as we've gone over.
As we established in many areas.
And this is making me cringe a little bit, but like I was I was totally upselling the game, like trying to get my friend from my neighborhood to play. Like, dude, you got to play this game. He's got a samurai sword that's like 8 feet long. And that was my entire pitch for the game.
Bro, when you see this dude's sword, you're going to fucking piss yourself. It's like so long.
You don't get it. It's a really big samurai sword.
I can't even explain to you how long this sword is, dude.
And this friend that I was trying to pitch the game to was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. It's hard to argue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Halo has a gun. Does Cloud have a gun?
Unfortunately, no. But he surrounds himself with gun guys. So he's covered.
Actually, that's a question. Did you ever play that Vincent Valentine game?
Fuck no. That looked like garbage.
It was garbage, and I played it twice.
I am not a big enough Final Fantasy fan for that kind of shit.
Oh, I am. I'm exactly the kind of Final Fantasy fan that would play that game. Like,
just lap that shit up.
It's a third-person shooter where you get to play as Vincent Valentine, the gun guy. He was the one that had a gun.
He did have a gun. That's true.
Well, he's part of the proud anime tradition of having one guy whose power is gun.
Do you think he was kind of?
Well, I guess him and Barrett. They were both gun guys.
I have to say, since we're on Vincent, he does appear in some of the little preview videos, so he's confirmed for the game.
Voiced by Troy Baker.
Yeah. They wouldn't let me switch the language to Japanese, so that was a little bit torturous.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, third weird thing about the Final Fantasy demo.
Okay, lay it on me.
This is a third and final thing. So you play, like I said, you play up to the fire in Nibelheim. That sequence is so stretched out. I hate to say this for a game that's not out yet, but I'm pretty confident this is going to be in the final game too, because they said that this was a streamlined version of this event of the Nibelheim arc. It's so stretched out with the new format of the game that it really loses like a lot of the dramatic tension. And you'd think like that scene is really potent, just even on its own. You know, Cloud is like, oh, God, that guy is burning my village down and he's killing everybody. That's fucking crazy.
My senpai has turned against me.
Yeah, but there's some kind of very deflationary move they do, especially because they load that sequence up with like quick time events as well.
Oh, man, that's disappointing to hear.
I know. And it instead of creating like what quick time events are supposed to be, which is like a shorthand for like contextual actions, it just slows everything down to, in this case, quite literally a crawl, which I don't like. I think it's very strange that they don't just like power through. They have to like add more and more stuff to this for, I guess, just to like show off how, how much improvement this is over the original game or something. This is modern. This is a modern version of this game.
You don't like cutscenes as a concept in games, right?
I mean, I prefer to never have a cutscene in a game, yes.
I feel like in this case, I would prefer to just have this as a cinematic instead of trying to awkwardly ham-fist in, engagement in whatever way, whether it be QuickTime events or whatever. It's basically also the same reason that I kind of don't like dialogue wheels in most games.
I do not. I think they're a modern plague.
Yeah. Functionally, dialogue wheels make it harder to write a script. And I feel like I would rather have tight writing rather than engagement in that way. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned in that way.
You're definitely old-fashioned. That's true. I would say my big gripe with the dialogue wheel is that when you choose an option, it's not what the character says.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst.
I fucking hate that. What the fuck? Luckily, that does not happen in Final Fantasy VII. But this reflex to stretch these iconic scenes out, because in the original game, this is just Cloud telling you what happens, and you pretty much just get a very abbreviated version that gives you the points, Okay, you went to the reactor, Sephiroth acted weird, he locks himself in the mansion, he reads a bunch of books, at one point Cloud goes down there and he's like, hey dude, are you okay? And Sephiroth's like, nah dude, I'm not okay. And then the town burns down and you do the Genova scene, right?
Right.
That's very concise.
Yeah.
But in this version, you have to play it over a series of like 2 hours. So every little moment like that has to have more meat on it than it needs to. And that makes me a little bit afraid for the rest of the game. You know what I mean?
I see where the concern comes from. Personally, I like too much meat rather than not enough meat, if that makes sense. And I feel like as long as they're going big, that just means that they have more room to get weird. And I'm here for the jank. I want to say that up front.
Yeah.
I like the jank in both in terms of writing and in gameplay. I just want it to be good. I just want it to be good jank. That's all I want.
Just want it to be good. We just want it to be good. I mean, come on. That's all we want.
So I don't know. Are you gonna download demo part 2 when it comes out?
I mean, definitely. I really want to know what the Chocobo writing is like. The thing I'm just worried about is that all of these additions have made, like I said at the beginning, the big reveal not work. I already think that in the concept in the original game is like a little bit too muddy to like have the kind of impact they were expecting, because that story doesn't really make sense with the whole memory loss thing. Like when you actually like think through the sequence of events, it doesn't really make sense, especially because Tifa is there in the room with Cloud telling the story.
Okay, this is something that I'm hoping they address because
I could say right now they did not.
Okay, well, because in my recollection of playing the game, once you get to the end of the game and you look back at everything in retrospect, it was very obvious to me, at least, that Tifa was purposely not saying her piece about what happened in that moment. It's a don't wake up a sleepwalker scenario. I don't want to mentally break Cloud by revealing he doesn't remember things right.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's the generous way to read it. I think there are subtle changes in this version that kind of negate that. Yeah, but it makes it worse, I think. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess I got to get a PS5 already.
Yeah, you better get on that, dude. Okay, enough about a fucking 20-year-old game. Who fucking cares? Final Fantasy, whatever.
All right, I want to talk about a 20-year-old manga then.
Yeah, let's talk about a 20-year-old manga instead. That's more anime anyway.
I went and read the manga for Outlaw Star.
So weird.
Which I, until recently, didn't know that existed.
It is so weird of you to do. Why did you do that?
I wanted to see if it was different. And it is in a lot of ways. It's mostly the same. The story is more or less the same. It was a lot shorter than I assumed it would be. The entire run of the manga is 21 chapters at maybe like 40, 45 pages each.
Sure. Well, they cut out the Beach Planet chapter, so it shortened the run a little bit.
Well, it was a lot shorter than I would have expected for being adapted into a 26 episode anime, where the beach planet, the titty planet,
titty planet, yes.
That was a filler episode. That surprisingly wasn't in the manga. They had to add that in.
Surprisingly, yes. I'm so surprised they didn't manage to include the completely useless waste of time episode. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, is that manga overall is way hornier than the anime was.
You think so?
Oh yeah, they toned it down a lot. Like a lot. And the anime wasn't like 0% horny either.
It was not 0% horny. It was pretty horny.
It was pretty horny. And it gets pretty horny. Even, I mean, they go full on nudity in the manga. They're popping heads and busting nuts.
They're busting nuts, huh?
It is violent and horny.
Tell me about some of the times they bust nuts.
Well, most of it is relegated to the beginning when Jean is still kind of like a sleazebag. Like, what do you call it? He's not specifically a mercenary, although that's like a lot of what he does. He's just kind of like
an outlaw.
He's an outlaw. No, he doesn't start off as an outlaw. He becomes one by stealing a ship and going into space. Before that, he was just like a do whatever kind of guy.
A gun for hire.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it, but he was also like a mechanic and a courier and just like a whatever. He's a gopher.
Yeah, he's a hustle and grind guy.
I mean, if I had to define it, he was a professional sleazebag is what he was.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
He's an Uber driver. He's a DoorDash guy.
He would totally do DoorDash. Anything
he was
to
on TaskRabbit.
Anything to get him back into the hostess club. That was his main motivation.
Yeah.
Getting to the girls. And I don't know. I checked it out because I saw that it was short and I really liked the art. And I like the art from the anime. I think it's pretty stylized in its own way.
And you've got all those nostalgia filters.
Well, sure.
They're really doing a lot of work.
Everything that I truly love and hold dear in my life is wrapped in a thick layer of nostalgia at this point.
Yeah, when your brain was less formed.
Yeah. I mean, I did go back and watch like a couple episodes of the anime too, just to kind of put everything in comparison. And
sure.
And some of those, like the backdrops that they use for space in the anime are really, really beautiful. They go hard in on like these psychedelic, multicolored swirl spaces instead of just like stars on a black background.
Yeah.
They do a lot of weird stuff, nebulas and like bright red like suns and all that. It's very cool. But I like the art in the manga just because it has a much more kind of like gritty, angular style to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. I liked it. There's not a whole lot different in the story from the anime. In fact, I would say that the anime, they had to add in a bunch of filler episodes that were not in the manga. The manga's pretty streamlined. It's like,
Does the manga have an actual ending?
yeah, no, it has an actual ending.
That's interesting to me.
Basically, the manga is, Gene and his little buddy, his little guy, Jim Hawkins, by the way.
Yeah, Jim Hawkins.
Absolute, stupid ass fucking anime name. It's like, hey, he's like Jim Hawkins, right? Because they're space pirates, Treasure Island, all that. But also he's like Stephen Hawking.
Oh boy,
because he's a little boy genius, like Stephen Hawking. Like Stephen Hawking.
In Final Fantasy VII remake, his name's Chadley. Do you like that better or worse?
I remember that, and I hate that.
You remember Chadley?
I hate it so much.
I cannot believe Chadley is a real thing. It boggles the mind.
I wonder if that is carried over, like if that's a literal, if his Japanese name was Chaduri.
I have to assume, I think that is.
I don't know. I feel like maybe there was some localization there. Maybe he has like a different stereotypically nerdy name in Japanese. I don't know.
I'll pay more attention when the game comes out and I get to play it in Japanese. Figure out Chadley's thing, his whole deal.
Yeah, but they basically move from meeting Melfina, the girl in the box trope, to getting involved.
Yes, we should talk about that.
The girl in the box trope.
Yeah, how incredibly pervasive the girl in the box trope.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, and it still is. I mean, it's crazy how that has just held on over the years.
I feel like there is some connection there between that trope and people who are really into buying anime figures. I'm still trying to put my finger on it.
Well, you said you didn't want to. You get uncomfortable when I say it, but they are the fuck babies. I mean, they're fuck babies.
I don't like that term. It is accurate. It is
accurate.
Non-untrue term.
It is accurate and descriptive. The perfect term.
I don't like it though.
We saw it even in last season in Synduality Noir, which I called the dehydrated Gurren Lagann, which, because they both do that, they both have girls in boxes.
Yep.
More literally in Gurren Lagann than Synduality, but still exactly the same shit. At least in Synduality, she is not a fuck baby. She's a emotionless fuck robot.
Oh, that's better.
Like a 2B type.
That makes me feel better about the whole interaction then.
It does? You prefer the emotionless robot?
To childlike affectation, I would say, yeah. Probably in this case, yes.
Teach me how to love. What you humans call love.
You can't love, you're a robot.
And Outlaw Star, a member of that proud tradition.
Yeah. So, they meet Melfina, they get her out of the box, and then they're like, all right,
they unbox her. They do an unboxing video.
They do an unboxing video to get the naked childlike woman out.
Yeah, they get all the styrofoam out of there. There's a fancy velvet bag she's in.
And so they basically go from that. They pick up the other members of the crew, Suzuka, the sword lady, and Aisha Clan, the muscle-bound cat girl.
Yep.
Which totally doesn't explain anything about me in my later life.
No.
I don't want to unpack that at all.
Yeah, you definitely weren't giving like weird Tenchi Muyo crossover vibes. Yeah.
So they get the crew together, and then it's like, bam, all right, end of the series. We found the galactic ley line, final battle with the mercenaries that were hunting us down. That's it.
Cool.
It's very streamlined. It's like all of the stupid shit and the boring shit from the show taken out.
Great. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
You love to hear it.
I loved it. So yeah, go read it. Check it out. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Wow.
And I think probably one last thing on that subject is you don't see that weird fusion of ancient Chinese magic and space pirate shit anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I want to see more of that because they take no time to explain it at all. It's like, space pirates and guns that can shoot wizard spells and like ancient Chinese magic. It's all in there.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah. I don't know. Check it out. It's 20 years old.
Was that Calgon? I think that's Calgon.
Ancient Chinese secret,
Ancient Chinese secret, huh? So weird. You know, that's a thing. I mean, we talked about Buchigiri, right? It has these really weird, like, what do I call them? That's not offensive. Ethnic touchstones.
Good swerve.
They're bringing in these, like, without addressing them, they're bringing in all these, like, kind of like Chinese elements and Middle Eastern elements without really explaining.
East Asian mysticism.
Yes, exactly. East Asian mysticism. Mysticism.
You almost got it.
The mysticism. Mysticism?
Mysticism.
Don't make fun of my speech impediment. And of course, there's a really great manga running right now that I don't know if we've ever even... Damn, have we ever even talked about it? Hold on.
Let's move on. Why don't we talk about 103 Dragon and then we take a break?
Okay. Well, let me do... I'll knock these three out really quick.
Okay, go fast.
Okay, I watched some anime, Nate.
Oh,
I actually
God.
watched some anime, and one of them we'll have to talk about. I will have to duck the what is anime conversation because I watched Pokemon Concierge, which is all stop motion.
That's fucking awesome.
It's great. The story is pretty weird, but my God, it is beautiful. It is truly beautiful. I don't think you really need to like watch every episode. Not that you shouldn't, but like the story is not really the draw here. It's just seeing the stop motion Pokemon and all the stuff in the world like is just it's breathtaking. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. The fact that the main conflict in the story is that the woman who is gone to become the Pokemon concierge as her new job.
Now, when they say concierge, like, do they mean it in like a mob way?
No, they mean it. Unfortunately, they mean it in a hospitality way.
Oh.
But hospitality specifically for the Pokemon. Now, it's a little hack to go into like, oh, it's weird that like the Pokemon does this and that in the real world, like. You know, like how it's incredibly strange that there are just psychic Pokemon wandering around who have the ability to like levitate shit with their mind.
Or mind control people.
It's like truly, actually terrifying. But, you know, that's whatever. What is strange to me is that this woman, she's a Pokemon concierge. There's Pokemon Island. We're all familiar with this concept. Her job is to just hang out with the Pokemon and like play with them and shit. Which, holy shit, what a great job.
Yeah, I want that fucking job.
I know. It's fucking great. What a great-ass job. But to this woman, I think the implication is that she was a desk jockey and it, like, just burned her brain. Like, she's become, like, irreparably mentally ill because of it. And she cannot relax when she gets
Relatable.
Yeah, I know, right? She cannot relax at the beginning of her job. Like, the whole 4-episode arc is, like, learning to not be in a constant state of, like, panic attack over job performance.
Shit, can she teach me how to do that?
Watch the show. Maybe you'll learn something. Actually, the answer the show comes up with is, like, get a dope-ass fucking job, move to Hawaii, and hang out with animals all day. Like, that kind of is the answer.
Oh, okay, so just, like, be a rich celebrity.
Yeah. Or, you know, extraordinarily lucky. Either one. You can choose. So that's really weird. It's beautiful, but, man, what a weird choice for the story to be. I do like that they call out the fact that everybody loves Pikachu, and like some of the other people working there are like, Pikachu's for posers.
Pikachu is like a normie pick?
Yeah, Pikachu is the normie pick. There's a short sequence where one of the challenges she overcomes is this kid has a Pikachu. This is fucked up. A kid brings his Pikachu to the island, and he's like, there's something wrong with my Pikachu. He's not like the Pikachus on the TV. He's not like outgoing and cool, and he like does cool shit. His Pikachu's like kind of like shy and awkward, and he wants to fix the Pikachu. Just like,
my Pikachu
dude.
says Pika Pika. Well, my Pikachu says my spidey sense is tingling.
It's so I found it very weird. It's like, that is fucked up, man.
Wow. No need to shame the Pikachus.
I know. Why are you fucking... This Pikachu just happens to have a different constitution than the other Pikachus. Can you just fucking chill, dude? But no, this kid is totally spoiled. Anyway, I love the idea that people in the Pokemon world are like, Pikachu is such a fucking normie-ass, poser-ass pick, dude. Choose something cool like Wooper.
Wooper? Whooper.
She ends up with a side duck. That's kind of the thing.
I guess that's better. At least that's a Gen 1.
This is very much catered towards millennials. Like, there's a lot of Gen 1.
Oh, okay. This is millennial nostalgia baiting.
Yeah. It's just weird that she basically has a very Misty relationship. It's they basically just recreated the Misty Psyduck thing, except she's a little nicer to the Psyduck than Misty was.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it. Okay. Psyduck in the cartoon kind of was like the butt of a lot of like abuse jokes, right? Because the whole bit was like, wow, my Psyduck is so fucking stupid, it can't do shit.
Yeah. And that's sort of the bit here too, which is the weird part.
And
because the Psyduck is all like shy, and it keeps running away whenever she tries to like approach it, and it keeps fucking shit up. Like it gets its trademark headache, and then all the shit she's working on like floats around and like falls to the ground, and she's like pissed off. So it's like all that kind of shit again. Goku Rakugai, that was the one. By the way, finally remembered.
Oh, wow, okay. That was a sleeper. All right.
Goku Rakugai. Anyway, that's Pokemon Concierge. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. And what was that one called? What is that, like that tank-ass looking one that's got the big X over its...
the Onyx evolution?
It's got the 4 legs and the big like central tank body and a big X over it.
Blastoise.
Yeah, that was a Blastoise for sure. Anyway, that's Pokemon Concierge. I also watched 103 Dragon.
A One Piece story.
Yes. Now, let me make sure that that's actually what it's called. It's called Monsters 103 Mercies Dragon Damnation, which, man, Oda, come on, man.
Dude, we were just talking about this. The dude's too big. He doesn't have to answer to an editor anymore. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, exactly. He's got Stephen King disease. Except apparently his wife isn't his editor, so nobody's stepping in to be like, hey, you can't call The Shining Black Shine, my dude. You can't do that.
I can just imagine Oda's wife like standing over his shoulder like, oh, you want to draw her like that?
Oh, so even bigger, huh? Even bigger than last time? Huh. Interesting. Oh, okay. Sure. So this is it pretends to not be a One Piece story, and then it reveals itself to be a One Piece story. It's very short. It's like 20, 25 minutes long. It's about an asshole who comes to a Western town and kills a dragon there and is an asshole about it. And then it turns out that asshole is relevant to the story of One Piece. Whoa, dude. Whoa, what?
So
I didn't see that coming.
This is like that thing that ended up being a Bleach spinoff that I watched.
Yes.
Kind of in the same vein, huh?
Yeah, very much in the same vein, in that it tries to trick you that it isn't, and then immediately becomes clear that it is.
Hey, this might be something cool, and then it turns out that it's something that you already hate.
Yes, I mean, I don't
Although
really...
I guess that doesn't apply to One Piece for you, but...
Yeah, I do. I don't hate One Piece. It turns out like this whole thing is just a setup for where one of Zoro's swords come from. So if you're interested in that, that's what that is. Do you want to know the backstory of one of Zoro's swords?
Look no further.
Boy, do I have an anime for you. And I watched, and this is interesting, I watched the first 2 episodes of Ishura. Ishura. Whatever. This is kind of weird. This is one of the ones that we skipped, actually, when we were kind of talking about our anticipated shows of the season. Because this is a current season show. It's only got 7 episodes out, I think.
Okay. Oh, so this is in the middle of airing.
This is in the middle of airing. And somehow Hulu got the streaming rights for it. Remember Hulu?
Huh. I mean, I remember Hulu, a Disney subsidiary.
Yes. In fact, I think it's a subdivision of ABC, if we're going to be very specific about it.
Yeah, Hulu's been snapping up a lot of anime IPs recently.
You know what? I think they had some kind of cross-branding thing with the one that isn't Crunchyroll, the one that just got folded into Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one? What's that one called?
Oh, shoot. What was it called?
Yeah. The name of that defunct streaming service was Funimation.
I've already erased it from my cultural memory.
Yeah, it's gone. Who cares? It was probably scummy anyway. Good riddance. I mean, not that Crunchyroll's great, but, you know. So Ishida is based on a light novel not a manga.
Okay.
And as that will obviously reveal to you, it is an isekai.
Oh.
But, hold on, and this is the weird part, it does not seem to be about the isekai or E's.
Okay, go on.
This is basically about a world where, and we've really got to get to the bottom of this fucking Demon King thing, because they throw out the term Demon King constantly in this anime. And they refer to all kinds of different stuff as Demon Kings. And then they refer to one guy as the true Demon King. And I'm like, there's got to be something going on with the translation here.
Well, it's a franchise deal, kind of like how you used to be able to go to Bobo the Clown College or whatever, right? The Demon King goes around the country selling his character package to a bunch of these lower level Demon Kings.
Yeah, Gallagher and Gallagher 2.
Exactly.
So this begins after the quote-unquote Demon King is defeated. And we are kind of introduced. It begins with a very dumb, like, edgelord sequence at the beginning, but it seems like maybe the edgelordism balances out as the series goes. But the interesting thing about this is that this is a world that is, like, aware of isekais. We should probably come up with a term for those, too.
Isekaiers.
The spirited aways. The spiritings aways.
Let's workshop that. We'll come back to it.
In this show, they're called like visitors or guests.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which is strange. So this is like a known thing that happens, and is apparently like not a big deal. They don't seem to be like super interested in why that's happening or what's going on.
It's like, I guess there's just another dude from another world coming in, fucking up everything with superpowers.
Yeah. And so in the 2 episodes, I only know about one of them so far, but he's like just another guy. I mean, he's a super crazy, super powerful anime guy, but he is not considered like first of all, he's not the main character. This is something I liked about the show, is that they don't seem to be focusing in on like one particular character. There are no repeat characters between episode 1 and episode 2, which I very much like. I think that's cool. It shows that you kind of like trust your audience even a little bit. And it's mostly about, now this is again a translation thing. They call them demigods sometimes. They call them heroes sometimes, champions, all that shit. You know what I mean?
I think part of coming up with a good isekai setting is that you really need to get your branding on point, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of terms being used interchangeably there. That's already throwing me off.
Yeah, we're being tossed these terms interchangeably constantly, and it becomes a little much. But the thing I liked about that is that this guy is just one of many heroes in this story, and they're all being gathered together for some mysterious reason by the big fantasy kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of cool. I like it. I like the tone for the most part. Like I said, it starts with some edgelord shit, which I did not like, but it balances out. It's got some interesting animation. Sometimes it goes into some very bad 3D, which I do not like. But again, it balances out by episode 2. And I don't know, there's like a tone about it that I think is interesting. I think we totally skipped over it because in our quick look, our brief overview of the new season,
yeah, let's call it that,
we immediately saw isekai and went like, fuck off.
It's very easy to do,
Extremely easy to do. In fact, it's one of the things I love doing the most. I love it.
I love not reading or watching isekai.
I love when people are all talking about some big new TV show and I find out that it is like another fucking cop show, and I guilt-free, I can completely skip it. Hell yeah. That being said, I for whatever reason, I did start watching the new True Detective.
Oh.
Yeah. I like Jodie Foster. I really like Jodie Foster. I think she's great. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna watch a few more of these and see where it shakes out. But like, I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about it that puts it in a different category than some of these other isekais we've been talking about.
I mean, if it seems worth checking out, let me know. But I am weighted against it at this point.
Let me give you this. Just one last pitch. Okay. So they introduce the second hero in the second episode.
Okay.
And it is a human-sized wyvern dragon who has a a mutation that gives him like 6 arms.
All right.
And he is the smartest, coolest, fastest dragon that's ever been born. And he like wears cool ass goggles when he flies through the air. And he's going around the world collecting all the most powerful magical items so that he can like own other dragons.
Sounds like a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. He's pretty cool. I like that dude. He's a cool dude.
I mean, that sounds like, what that reminds me of is the stupid ultimate monster that Leos scribbles in his notebook in Dungeon Meshi.
Yes.
He's like, all right, he's got goggles and he has 6 arms and he's the fastest.
He's the fastest guy in the world. I'm pretty sure I said it before when we were talking about Dungeon Meshi, but I love that he basically describes Jakiro from Dota over and over again as his ideal monster.
Dragon with 2 heads.
Hell yeah. A fire and ice dragon? Dope, dude. Hell yeah. Okay, let's take a break. We've been rambling for a while.
Yeah. And here we are again. Now,
here we are.
Beautiful, handsome, and tall, I want to say, listeners.
Massive.
We have a special treat here for you today on Anime Death Spiral. We are going to give you the honor of hearing us put together our own original manga/anime ideas. How does that sound, Remy?
Yeah, it's not a sweaty desperation idea. This is actually something we're really great at, and we're allowing you to step into the world we inhabit. So behind the curtain.
This is a glimpse into our creative process.
Yes. Now, we don't have to talk about the various manga we've already written.
Of which they are legion.
Yeah, we've obviously reached legendary status in a couple different fields, but...
I don't want to name names, but one of our big credits may or may not rhyme with Okemon.
Yeah, we're the guys who named him Red.
Took us 3 days, no sleep to come up with that one.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but it's actually based on Morgan Freeman's character from Shawshank Redemption.
I've never seen that movie.
Don't bother.
Okay.
Sorry, Stevie. Anyway, let's take a peek at our process here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not working any manga right now, so we're going to try to sit down, brainstorm, go through the process. Always trust the process, and come up with some new manga ideas for the future here.
Now, why don't we start by reaching into our bag here and seeing what we pull out?
Yes. So Nate is reaching into the bag, and he is going to draw out a couple of random words and phrases, and we're just going to use those as a springboard into one of our ingenious manga ideas.
Yeah.
There he goes. He's digging real deep. Oh man.
All right. I'm thinking right off the top of my head, what if we had a main character who is a secretary, and
okay,
maybe she's a secretary on a massive ornate zeppelin that flies around above a medieval fantasy world.
Okay. Fantasy world, zeppelins all go together. Secretary, maybe we're playing sort of sexist tropes, but you know what?
Hold on. Is secretary a gendered word to you?
No, but it is a job that is typically ascribed to women. I mean, Christina Hendricks, etc. But hey,
I don't know. What kind of vibes do you get from that?
We got to give the people what they want, and they eat this shit up.
Yeah.
They love women secretaries, like I said, Christina Hendricks, etc.
I mean, just because you say that, just because you're saying this right now, I kind of want it to be a male secretary to kind of throw...
Should we mix it up?
Yeah, let's mix it up.
We might be accused of overwoking our story, though. Whoa.
That's impossible.
What's next? Male nurses?
Never gonna happen.
It'll never happen. But in this fantasy world, I suppose, since we're playing with the unreal, I'm willing to go along with this male secretary. Okay, this is good. This is fruitful. Our character is going to be named, I think, let me give him a name here. It's good to start with a name, you know what I mean?
It's always good to start with a name.
I'm thinking we want to call him, let's call him Famongs.
How do you spell that?
Famongs. I suppose we could, you want to short it to Famong? Is that easier?
Yeah, sure. That rings a little bit better, at least.
All right. Famong Claw Wine. That's our main boy.
Okay, yep. That kind of makes sense with a fantasy setting.
Yes, and he's just a lowly secretary. He works in the secretary pool on the, let's say, it's a fantasy world, but it's sort of got the steampunk thing going on because of the Zeppelin.
I mean, the fact that he's a secretary instantly makes me imagine that there is some kind of overbearing bureaucracy that exists in this world, right?
Yes, definitely.
A bureaucracy that flies around bureaucrating over the small folk.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Is it a king, or is it a president, or is it a baron? Well, here, let's do part 2 here. I'm going to spin the genre wheel. This might give us a clue as to the political structure of our new fantasy world.
Okay.
All right, what did we got? Oh, this is a rom-com. All right. Perfect. This is great. This is great. So,
all right, no, I got it.
Okay, go.
He is the secretary to the demon lord, right?
Okay.
That instead of a giant demon castle, he flies around doing his overlord shit from
in a demon zeppelin.
Yeah, from his magical demon zeppelin.
Dope. That's dope.
And our main dude is his loyal secretary, who also happens to have a crush on the female hero who's destined to defeat the demon lord.
Oh, that's a good twist. I was kind of going down originally like the BL kind of trashy romance version of it, where he's falling in love with his boss,
Okay, kind of like a boys love version of what was that? What's that anime called?
Masterful Cat.
Yeah, Masterful Cat.
She's trying to fuck her boss in that.
No, Ancient Magus' Bride. That's what I was thinking.
Ancient Magus' Bride. Sure. But I like your idea. I like that he's fallen in love with the hero, and let's say he's maybe like secretly trying to set her up for success, but she's kind of like comically inept, so she keeps fucking up like when he sets it up.
I like that. He's the inside man who's as part of his crush on her, he sees that she's not very good at her job.
Yeah.
So he's like constantly in the background, like fucking up the demon lord's plans on purpose so that she looks better.
They don't have any connection, but he's kind of trying to like construct these scenarios where they get to interact, and so he's constantly undermining the demon lord to give her an advantage in the fight.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, let's get one example of how he would do this.
Okay, I'm imagining maybe
I got one. You want me to go?
Okay, you got one, go.
Okay, so he hears that the hero has been training in the capital city, right? And the demon lord is he's flying his zeppelin near the capital city, and so he puts a bunch of sugar in the zeppelin's gas tank, forcing them to go down and refuel, giving her the opportunity to jump aboard, right?
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
And like fuck everybody up.
I was imagining maybe a scenario where he accidentally forgets to pack the demon lord's, I don't know, protective amulet or something. Like they go to a battle
accidentally.
Yeah,
yes.
Accidentally. It's like, oh, I forgot it, boss. He's like, that was the thing that was supposed to keep her from ever getting close to me.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. I think we got it. I think we got a solid plot here.
My staff of instant death.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did you put it? Oh, I think I left it under the bed.
I left it at home. I left it in the washing machine.
Oh no! But she when she tries to storm the Zeppelin, she forgets that she has a fear of heights, and it takes off, and she just cowers. She can't fight anybody because it's too high up, and he has to like secretly get her into the life raft, the Zeppelin life raft. that floats down to the ground.
That's good. I like that.
Okay, I like.
Yeah, I'm already invested in these characters.
I love this story. I'm already buying the first chapter.
Yeah.
On a paid app because I don't pirate manga.
Damn, we're good.
Yeah, that's fucking great. Okay,
All right.
that's one down.
That's one down. Then that was easy for us.
People, you got to understand. This is easy. This is easy for us.
All right. Should we bang out another one?
Let's go for another one. Yeah. I like that one, but we want a nice spread.
Okay. All right. The muses are
Taking rom-com off the wheel.
Yeah, get it out of there. Eliminated. Otherwise, they'd all be rom-coms.
It's called diversification.
Okay. All right. The muses are guiding me towards tour guide and maybe in a setting like let's see here. A bed and breakfast at the end of the world.
Okay. So we've got kind of a slice of life apocalypse story, sort of like
yeah.
I want to say like Kino's Journey or Girl's Last Trip. I just brought the mood down. Oh, my heart. Okay, but let's try to keep this one lighthearted. Okay, so this character, what are we thinking? Male, female, non-binary? What are we thinking?
I think it'd really go any old which way direction. I think the important part is that we have this character bed and breakfast in the end times, right? I'm getting almost like a cozy vibe just from that premise alone.
Yeah. Now I feel like I don't want to spoil this idea, but man, this is really close to some shit that exists already. But ours is going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
Ours is going to be better than that.
It's going to justify itself right off the bat.
Well, I don't know what kind of genre would this be? What does this say to you?
Well, let me clarify. Let me first let's pull a name. I think let's come out with a name. And then that'll clarify like who this person is.
Okay.
So I'm thinking their name is Sazzy.
Okay. Well, that
with 2 Z's.
That instantly that name presents female to me.
Zazzy Morpeens. I think that's a great name. I think that works.
I'm gonna question the last name a little bit, but this is your creative prerogative. So
would you prefer penis? More penis? Okay. Their name is her name is Sazzy More Penis.
Okay. All right. And now what is she? She operates a bed and breakfast at the end of the world, and what is she a tour guide of? What is there to show?
Well, I'm thinking about genre. Let me spin the genre wheel again. This will clarify. I think this will really narrow it down. And the wheel is spinning. It's spinning. It's going. Oh, it's slowing down. And this is actually the next arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And this is really good because, we are obviously in the end of the triads. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but JoJo kind of works on a triadic system.
It goes in trilogies, yeah.
Yeah. And we're reaching, with the conclusion of this current arc, we are reaching the end of the next triad.
You think they're going to do another Stone Ocean reset?
I don't think that's where we're going, but who knows? I have no idea. I have really no idea. But if they do or if they don't, I think this end of the world thing is great because it puts us in a completely new context. Currently we're doing a crime story in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So now we're doing like you said, a bed and breakfast tour guide kind of thing in the end of the world. So obviously we have a JoJo. That's going to be our main character. That's Sazzy. Mm-hmm. Sazzy more penis.
We got to figure out why people call her JoJo.
Yeah. So her name is Josazzy.
Joe Penis.
Joe Penis. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yes. Yes. Of course. Her name is Joe Sazzy, Joe Penis. She awakens to her stand powers when a mysterious stranger comes to the bed and breakfast and requests a tour of what kind of cool landscape would would require a tour guide at the end of the world. Maybe some kind of world-ending event has completely altered the terrain of the world, and now it's unfamiliar and strange and interesting to people again.
Off the top of my head, maybe an evil stand has turned the whole world into some kind of psychedelic high-tech carnival.
Oh, yes. Now that's an interesting idea, because now we can go like the Dio equivalent of this triad succeeded. They they destroyed the world.
Yes.
And now we're living in the post-Dio world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, I know these are separated kind of by a reset and whatnot, but I feel like the whole bed and breakfast aspect, we can try and work in some kind of connection to the Italian chef stand user from Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she has like an updated version of his stand. I don't know.
Well,
I'm feeling something food-based.
What if, because Araki does like to mix it up, not just location and characters, but kind of tones and styles of the stories. What if this one is less of a travel log kind of thing that he tends to do, and more of like strangers are showing up to the bed and breakfast, and we're having episodes about their conflicts and interests, and eventually at the end of the episode they become a Joe Bro that works at the bed and breakfast. So this Italian tomato chef stand user becomes the chef of the bed and breakfast.
I like that. I feel like it needs some higher stakes. So what if, I guess going back to Diamond is Unbreakable, because that's just such a good arc, what if we tone down it even more and make it a murder mystery, an Agatha Christie like whodunit inside the bed and breakfast?
Oh, wow. Yes, that is interesting. That's something that we haven't really seen in JoJo.
Yeah. What if it's like everyone's, the entire arc takes place in one location? Maybe it's a giant bed and breakfast, a unnaturally large on the inside bed and breakfast.
Sure. The bed and breakfast is Josazi's stand.
Oh, whoa, now we're talking.
Holy shit. Now, I would be remiss not to mention the stand battle from part 3, where Jotaro and Bros check into the hotel that is being run by the old lady, the old stand arrow lady, and they kind of get attacked by the hotel until, what's his name? Steel Horse? Iron Horse? Whole Horse?
Yeah, Whole Horse.
Was it Whole Horse?
It was Whole Horse, yeah.
Yeah, and he gets fucking owned. He walks into it and just gets owned immediately.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah, it's very funny and cool.
I like this a lot, yeah.
I love this. I think this is great. And you know what? Maybe even like the reason the bed and breakfast is there, it's sort of sitting on like the font of like Dio demon energy, and she like lives there to like make sure that it never escapes. And the murder mystery kicks off when she notices that like maybe some of it leaked out.
That's tasty. That's a spicy meatball.
I think that's doing numbers. That's doing numbers, baby. That's getting on the board.
Absolutely. Araki, call us. We got it, baby.
Yeah, Araki's great, but people don't really know. He does use a lot of ghostwriters.
Is that true?
Yeah, us.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course it's true.
Yes, of course it's true. What are you talking about? Okay, that's one down. Let's try to get a third one here to like round us out. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Let's jam one more in here. Let's see here. All right, what do we got? Something I'm feeling maybe like. What is a casual worker?
I told you that means underemployed.
All right, let's do that. Casual worker.
Okay, so basically a deadbeat boyfriend.
Yeah, a loser, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know. All of these setting ideas are oddly racialized. Okay.
You can't find a good one, huh?
Not one that I think would pair well with casual worker. I'm going back. Hypnotherapist. All right, here we go.
Okay.
He's a hypnotherapist. Well, he or she, or they.
Immediately creep.
Yep.
All hypnotherapists are creeps.
A massive futuristic space station orbiting a distant planet.
Okay, space station.
Space station and hypnotherapist.
Okay, all right. Now, I do say the first hypnotist in anime I think of is, of course, Django from One Piece.
Really? That's who you think of?
Yes, unfortunately.
I was going to say the one that springs to mind for me is Ron Kanemahashi.
Yeah, but Django, like, he has the pendulum that he uses, you know, and he says you're getting very sleepy and all that shit.
Okay, so he's literally a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, also, and he is Michael Jackson, so, like, the creep part is, like, very well established.
Okay.
So, let's see. We've got a hypnotherapist on an alien planet space station. Now, I'm thinking... Wait, those are already Kingdom Hearts names.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking we call him... him, her, them, Examia.
Examia.
That's
all
a good
right.
sci-fi name. X's always make good sci-fi names.
That's also
don't you
a
think?
good fantasy name. You know what? My creative juices are flowing here. What if instead of space station, and hear me out here, we take a little bit of a pivot. We've got a hypnotherapist, and he goes to Wizards Power High School. What about that?
A hypnotherapist who goes to Wizards Power High School, and their name is Examia Drewswine.
Sure.
That's a perfectly cromulent fantasy name. All right, okay. Fantasy, Powers High School, Examia Drewswine, hypnotherapist.
So, obviously... Okay, well, I don't know. What? Give me a genre. Let's try and roll this in.
We're rolling the dice. Oh. Okay, this is a Yuri manga.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
So Examia is going to be a woman. It's a lady, or I guess a girl because she's in high school. Now she's a hypnotherapist. I'm thinking that. She's fallen in love with one of the deeply troubled girls who can't access her powers, and so comes to Examia knowing that she's good at hypnotherapy to unlock her past lives, right?
Uh-huh.
And Examia discovers that she is actually the most powerful Magic Powers High School user ever.
Now,
and in order to protect her, she has to make sure she never finds out.
Oh, okay. Like, now are we talking like, does she get some kind of vision, portent of doom type thing? Like, let me ask you this: is hypnotherapy magical?
In this case, it is. It definitely has to be.
Okay, so she has magical hypnotherapy powers.
There is no such thing as non-magical hypnotherapy. I just want to put that out there. I'm sorry if you've been taken in by a hypnotherapist. It is not real.
If you've ever talked to a hypnotherapist in real life, you should probably talk to the police.
Yeah, I think you should at least try to get your money back. I'm thinking that during the hypnotherapy session, much like we've seen in other anime, like her original powerful personality kind of comes to the forefront temporarily and like explains itself to Examia.
Okay.
And is like, I am the most powerful. You help unlock me. And she's like, oh, that's not good.
She's got like a power personality or whatever.
Yeah. So the series starts at first as if Examia is sort of cozying up to this girl in order to prevent anything happening, like any kind of like power leaks. But over time, she kind of develops affection for her and she kind of falls in love. And so the focus becomes making sure that her personality isn't overwritten by the past lives, I don't know, demon or wizard or whatever.
Okay, so now here's an interesting aspect. In this situation, maybe she by herself is not the most powerful, but she like a Samurai Deeper Kyo situation.
Yeah.
She has a demon lord trapped inside her, suppressed. That is the ultimate font of her powers.
Yes, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And through these hypnotherapy sessions, trying to help her suppress the demon lord and I don't know, be a better person, quit smoking or whatever. Through these sessions, she slowly falls in love, which is, I just want to say, highly unethical for a doctor. I'm assuming also that she is a faculty member at this Wizards of Powers High School and not another student.
No, she's not. This is not a teacher-student Yuri. This is a student-student Yuri. We need to make that clear.
Okay, so she's not licensed then to practice hypnotherapy.
No, she has a reputation that she dabbles. And that's sort of, it's a Powers High School, so people kind of are interested in each other's powers. And her power happens to be like hypnosis. But she doesn't want to be
We don't call it that. We call it memory unlocking.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't want to be a bad guy, right? She has a lot of anxiety about appearing to be a bad guy because hypnosis is, let's be real, fairly nefarious in fantasy and genre.
Oh, I thought you were going to say therapy is fairly nefarious.
No, I'm not. I am not taking a stand against therapy. But hypnotherapy, I think so. She tries to change her image by using her therapy to help people, right? That's kind of her deal.
Yeah.
And so she gets a kind of a reputation around campus of like, hey, if you have like weird shit bothering you, if you have things that you can't really work out, if you go to the hypnotherapist, she's pretty good at like solving these problems. And that's where our characters become acquainted. She keeps shadowing this girl, and like I said, they become closer and closer. And every time the girl in question gets drawn into a conflict, right? Mm-hmm. Like, people constantly pick fights with each other in Powers High Schools for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
All the time.
Yeah. But every time she gets into a fight, that fight threatens to give the thing more power.
Right, yeah.
So she is constantly trying to de-escalate fight situations. And that's where a lot of like kind of the drama and the humor will come in, right?
Sure. But ultimately, it's like she's trying to stop her from going beast mode because this may be the time that she doesn't come back, right?
Yes.
That's that's the tension. That's the ticking time bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
This absolutely has legs.
Oh, it's got some long legs that go all the way up.
Well, one final thing. Let's try to address this. What is the hypnotherapist's natural enemy?
I don't know, looking at your classmates' high school photos on Facebook.
A coconut that falls on their head makes them forget things.
I mean, I feel like in this case, the hypnotherapist's natural enemy would be the subject's parents, right? And whatever unresolved trauma they have with that.
Oh, so it all comes back to the parents.
It usually does.
Oh, it's about daddy, huh?
Listen, it's essentially just End of Ava, but with like cute wizard lesbians. That's my pitch.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my pitch, and I think it has money on it.
Okay. I think this is great. I think this has so much potential in any direction you want to go. If you want it to be funny, if you want it to be scary, if you want it to be exciting, I think there's so many directions you could take this. This is great. This is all gold.
Yeah. And you know what? That was just one of a million ideas that we can come up with because we're so good at this.
Yeah, I mean, look, we just did this really quick version of it so that we can kind of bring you, into the fold behind the curtain.
Obviously, we didn't get into the whole process, the rigmarole that we go through, during the pitch meetings that we have with lots of high-profile people all the time.
Yeah, I mean, generally when we're breaking one of these stories, we would get like, a nice hotel room and kind of lock ourselves in there for days at a time and just really like hammer out every detail of these stories. But, obviously for the podcast's sake, we're not going to subject you to 48 direct hours of spitballing.
Sign up for the Patreon for that.
Yeah, if you want the extended cut, let us know. All right. Wow, that's good shit.
Yeah. Damn, we're good.
Now I want to make sure that I do call out now at the end of the show here. I don't know if you saw, Nate, but somebody gave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
What? No shit. Really?
Yeah.
That is actually genuinely surprising to me. I'm not doing a bit. Like I'm very surprised.
you never thought you'd see the day. So I just want to shout out, thank you, Milk Steak. I really appreciate that.
Wow, Sunny reference.
Good job. You clicked the button and you said the very nice thing. I appreciate it. Apparently some of our brainwashing, speaking of hypnotherapy, some of our brainwashing is actually working on these people.
I know. You know what? Milk Steak, thank you. Hands out.
Thank you, Milk Steak.
You're a real lad.
You're a real one. For real. For real.
All right.
Okay, Jesus Christ. That was a lot of anime. We even created new anime that don't exist. That's psycho, man. That's crazy. Whew, boy.
Well, that brings us to the end, to the bottom of the spiral for this week. As always, I want to thank you, beautiful, handsome listeners. No, not you. Never you.
Oh, all right. Fine.
No,
Whatever.
the people, the small people out there that make us who we are.
Fine, I guess.
People like Milk Steak, who are fighting the good fight, giving us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Throwing out those Sunny references.
Yeah. Keep it up. Give us the stars. Ring the bells. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yeah. Man, it would be crazy if we got a second 5-star Apple Podcast review, huh?
I know. I hope nobody does that. Wink, wink.
Wow, that would be crazy if somebody did that and like had a funny joke name that we could say on the podcast. That would be crazy if that happened.
We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube Shorts, uploading clips of the show.
Yep.
Check us out there.
Subscribe to the Blue Sky, please. I need interaction.
Yeah.
Desperately.
And keep it cool, anime fans.
That's your new sign-off?
That's my sign-off. That's my new thing.
You're kind of pitching some new sign-offs. I like that one. It's all right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Between now and next pod, come up with like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 alts.
Yeah. All right. I'll shotgun them. We'll workshop that.
You think about that one. All right, people.
All right.
Bye. Hey, honestly, if it takes you 7 years to make a movie, you're bad at making movies. I'm done playing games. I'm taking the kid gloves off.